5.
If you carry a firearm and discharge your weapon in self-defense, you could face hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees and expenses. So carry the protection of CCW Safe, Self-Defense Legal Services membership. Upfront payment of all criminal and civil defense costs with no out-of-pocket for members. Unlimited defense budgets, unmatched legal expertise. Carry the same level of support police officers have. Carry CCW Safe, the highest caliber.
And we're back. Kind of in a weird situation. Got my buddy Dave Kemp next to me. Us and Mike Mad Bomber, who is right there next to me. We're in Vegas for SHOT Show. It's going to be a fun week. As you can see, I got a little red today from being on the range, and it was like 50-mile-an-hour winds out in the desert, so it was whipping around pretty good, daylight and sunny, but it was pretty cool. Yep. Got to see some cool stuff.
We're sensitive to the elements.
Yes.
Was Kel-Tec giving out cocaine like they said?
Yeah, they were there. They were there. Definitely, that company is something. I tell you what. Mr. Mad Bomber, how are you today, sir?
Doing great. Happy to be here.
Good deal. And we have our resident intelligence guru, Mr. S2. How are you today, sir?
Happy to be here, man. Another day above ground.
And Mr. Chris Heaven, my co-host, as we last minute threw a lot of things together because there were a lot of moving parts. Chris had some airport issues. Welcome, Chris. You had a fun day, didn't you? Oh,
I think Chris is just not commenting.
Yeah. Hold up. I'm going to remove him for a second. I don't think he was ready to come on. So
looks like he's wolfing down.
That kind of explains to you guys out there what's going on. We've
not as entertaining as the inauguration.
No, and that's going to be the first thing we get to. We've got some funny things, some serious things, but let's all start it out with the big thing, and that is that Trump is officially our president as of about 10:30 this morning. And I was excited to see the inauguration and see all of the liberal tears that were flowing on the right side of that room. That just warmed the cockles of my heart, seeing Hillary Clinton get her scowl on and Joe Biden fall asleep. I think he fell asleep like two or three times.
At least once he fell dead asleep.
Yes.
No doubt about it. But I mean, the guy's like 97. So.
Yeah. Well, 197 maybe. We're not sure.
He's an alien.
Yes. So what were you guys' biggest takeaways? We'll get to some video here in a minute, but I'm going to start with you, Mike, and we'll go around. Or your biggest takeaways of today, watching the inauguration, seeing everything unfold as it did.
So I didn't get to see it.
No, okay.
But yeah, I woke up to our Insiders channel going ping, 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 because I got to Vegas late last night. Well, early this morning, I should say. And yeah, I want to thank you all for the wake up call. Yeah. I want to thank you for that. Yeah, that was awesome.
See what?
But I would say my biggest takeaway of the entire thing was, it really sounds an awful lot like a return to the Monroe Doctrine. I mean, we're talking about taking back the Panama Canal, which is something that we should have never let go in the first place. Jimmy Carter messed that all up. But yeah, that was my biggest one was going back, taking back the Panama Canal. Dude, you should have seen social media light up after that. All the guys that were like all the guys that had fought in Panama back in the 90s were like, hell yeah, this is going to be freaking awesome. I'll go get my shoot packed. Like, whoa, slow down, guys.
Simmer down now, guys.
Yeah. I mean, I'll get a crew together. We can go check the locks and everything. We'll be in on the second lift. You guys go ahead and have fun.
I get that. It was interesting to watch. He really didn't, he didn't come out with necessarily. I mean, I think it was a unifying speech for people that are not communist. But the biggest thing for me was he came out and he said, guys, we won convincingly. Essentially the first part of his speech was like, we won a convincing, and this is what we're going to do. Guess what? Elections have consequences. This is what we're going to do. And I thought that was really refreshing. In some ways, I think I would have rather have had him just come out and just like, you're going to jail. You're going to jail, but you can't do that. It's one of those things. But
you get a conviction, and you get a conviction, and you get a conviction. You all get convictions,
and you're all felons.
Yes, exactly.
And that's kind of what Biden tried to steal the show this morning at about 5 a.m. with all of these pardons. That was the first news I woke up to, was like, what is going on here? Literally the 11th hour. We're going to try and now we're really, Fauci and the J6 committee. Like, this is really crazy. And I saw so many old videos from X today of everybody on MSNBC and talking about these preemptive pardons and how, the only reason people do them is if the people involved must be guilty of something.
Yep.
That was 4 years ago. Now, all of a sudden, it's a complete 360. And I thought, man, what a way to start the day. And I really thought even the news did a good job of just kind of putting that on the back burner. It was on the top of everybody's minds, but it didn't overshadow, I don't think, what was going on as far as the inauguration.
Yeah, agree.
And then just before 20 minutes before 0 hour, he pardons the rest of his family.
Yep. So let me show you guys that real quick. As we look here, you can see this is executive clemency. Interesting, January 1st, 2014 to now, these following people have been basically anything that they did wrong in that period of time is wiped clean. It is completely and totally, pardoned. Everything else. And James Biden, that's his brother. That's the other guy that was running around the country, running around the world with Hunter Biden, putting all of this stuff, putting all this money in his pocket. So yeah, that is just disgusting and gross. And, I said, in my opinion, I think they still need to open an investigation. They need to reveal all of this stuff. Even if they can't charge the people, all of this stuff needs to be put out in the public eye and shown what they have done, so that we know just how much the corruption was, how deep the corruption went, and how bad this was. And, it needs to be exposed, no matter if they can charge people or not. In the court of public opinion, this needs to be tried for sure.
John, I think Chris is ready to come in.
Yep. Okay. Bring him in. Mr. Heaven, how are you, sir? After a crazy day. I think we all had a crazy day.
You're muted.
On mute.
But
living the dream.
Sounds like a nightmare.
Which means he's dying inside right now.
For those of you that wonder, this is Chris's tone when he's extremely frustrated with how his day went.
No, it's just I'm right back to where I started, and I'm no further ahead.
Yeah.
I accomplished absolutely nothing today.
Yeah.
So America the last 4 years.
Kind of the same, just different.
A microcosm of the last 4 years. Chris, we were going around. Go ahead.
Absolutely. You had a bunch of blue hairs in your way the entire time, and you got the rug yanked out from you at the last 5 minutes. That is, you know what? Yeah, that's kind of a microcosm of the last 4 years.
Yeah, there's a reason that we refer to Florida as God's waiting room. This time of year, we got all the snowbirds. It's brutal. They can't get out of their own way. It's brutal.
Yeah.
Anyway, is what it is.
Chris, I'm going to give you let me go to S2, and then I'm going to come back to you. S2, what was your biggest takeaway from today and seeing the inauguration, and what are you excited about going forward?
My biggest takeaway was Trump's speech when he started to talk about Biden's so-called accomplishments, and looking at Biden sitting there looking at the floor like a 3-year-old that just got his ass chewed while he's doing it. I mean, that was just classic Trump. Just call it out right in front of him, and then watching Hillary's smirk getting wiped off of her face as he's doing it.
Yeah, I think that, as I said earlier, I think that everybody thought that he was going to come out with this like big unifying, like we're all Americans. That's what, you know, Biden did in his inauguration, and we know there was no truth behind what he said because he immediately started going after his political enemies. So there was no truth to what he said, and Trump just basically came out and said, "Hey, we won. We're America. Get out the way." So yeah, I completely agree. Chris, what about you? What was your big takeaway of everything that happened this morning, and what you see in the very near future?
So I had a few people texting me while Trump was speaking and saying that Trump sounds like he's delivering a campaign speech and he just needs to walk away from the mic and get to work. And I get it. People want to see shit happen. But my reply was, this is probably the one and only opportunity Trump will ever have to say to their faces, I beat you. You tried to kill me and I beat you. And now we're going to do things my way. So I totally endorse his speech. I thought he did a very professional job, better than I would have done. I would have been all over them. I mean, you motherfuckers, I'm going to bury ass every last one of you cocksuckers. That would have been my way of handling it. But he did a much better job than me. Honestly, I don't know if you guys heard this or not. We've got a CBP officer was killed at the border in Vermont by an illegal this afternoon.
Wow, had not.
And yeah, and that illegal ended up getting shot and killed as well. But I think that's a kind of a snapshot of what we're going to be dealing with here. This mass deportation is going to be ugly. It's going to be really ugly. But it's an exorcism that we need to do. So, I mean, obviously, we're glad Trump's in office. I'm glad he survived. I have a rhetorical question of sorts. How did it go from the Obamas, well, I know Michelle Obama, Michael Obama wasn't there. There's a rumored split between those two.
Oh, but they just posted they were in love on X a couple of days ago.
It was so joyful.
So the rumor is that Jennifer Aniston is having an affair with Barack Obama and that Michelle Obama has left Barack Obama. So now there's great speculation that Jennifer Aniston maybe has a dick or something like that. So otherwise, why would Barack Obama be attracted to? Yeah, no, that's ruins it for us too. Apparently, Mike too. But here's my question though: is less than 48 hours ago, Barack Obama, the Clintons, the Bushes, all of them said we will not be attending the inauguration. Then there were this flurry of changes to the itinerary for today. And all of a sudden, you know, it's indoors. It's not even in a public location. They decide to attend. I think that they had designs on trying to assassinate Trump again. And they were all like, peace out, man. We're not going to be there because the shit's fixing to hit the fan. And then when he changed all the plans, magically they all showed up. So,
yeah.
I think so too.
Weren't the plans were really up in the air over the last like 48 to 72 hours. They were constantly talking about, hey, we're moving venues again. We're moving venues again. And, you know, while it's unfortunate that they couldn't have the big grandiose thing with all the big crowd outside, which would have been cool to hear that crowd just ignite when he's announced as the president, I think that it was a smart move because it takes away the ability of them to be ahead of the game in a lot of ways.
So you're hosting tonight, John. You can do whatever you want, but I'm going to address this asshole right here. You do realize, you fucking idiot, that the people you let in from third world shitholes raped and murdered a bunch of Americans that would have never died otherwise, you know, and your statement is so far off base, it's not even funny. People like you are the ones that need to leave the country and go somewhere else because you're clearly not American. And
and we're not scared of them, and we're not scared of the illegals either.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
I feel strongly about this.
Well said. But idiots like this who've had their brains turned to shit by the legacy media, you aren't American. This is you're not American. You're not loyal to our country. And the sooner that you people get wiped out, meaning politically wiped out, the better.
Yeah.
I would like somebody to explain to me how deporting all of these illegals is going to cause our economy to collapse.
Yeah.
Is it because nobody will be out in the field picking vegetables?
Here's the thing. Here, listen, I'm spent most of my life in Texas, Central Florida. You know what? Mexicans, for example, call it Hispanics in general, have fantastic work ethic. They absolutely kick ass when it comes to work ethic. With that being said, a very small percentage of them are skilled people, and that's skilled trades all the way up to professionals. And that's probably a result of their educational systems not being great. Not that they're necessarily stupid people. It's just they don't come from a great educational system. So idiots like this who think our economy is going to collapse, you're fucking dreaming, you moron. These are people, there's a reason that we call a shovel a Mexican backhoe in Texas. So that can be replaced. I don't care if that sounds bad or not. It's the fact of the matter. It's the truth of the matter. These are not, doctors, lawyers, and highly esteemed people who are super productive in our economy. So anyway,
and the countries they come from they keep their people ignorant on purpose. They don't want them to figure out what's going on in their country.
That's fair enough too. Yep. Wouldn't disagree with that.
So I'll share this with you guys. It seems like Bernie was really, really excited to be at
right.
Trump inauguration. You can see him here. I think he's actually jumping for joy.
It's like Oscar the Grouch.
He was just mad that he didn't get to wear his mittens outside. No, cold weather.
Oh, just a little comedy for you guys. It's so crazy that the left are really sore losers, and then when they cheat and quote unquote win, they want to talk about unity and all that, because that was all that was said 4 years ago was, oh, we need to come together, we need to do this stuff. After you cheated, after you lied, and then to boot, you put Trump through legal hell for 4 years. I mean, if you think of me and Dave were talking as we were watching the inauguration this morning, the greatest political comeback in all of human history is Donald J. Trump. To come through what he has come through the last 4 years is a statement of, how if you just put your nose down, you take the punches that they throw at you and you just keep coming. I mean, the left has to be demoralized right now to have watched today and seen how, every literal bullet that they could shoot at him was shot. Every lawfare attempt was made, everything. And now Trump has a mandate and he has control of most of the levers of power in the government. So, any of you guys got any comments on that? I'm going to bring up some other stories.
I think the thing that sent chills down my spine was when they were doing the inspection of the troops and just seeing how buttoned up all of those people were in there.
Yes. I have to say, there is a soft spot in my heart for the Battle Hymn of the Republic. And when the guys, the choir came in singing that, I got a little emotional because I just love the words of that song and just what it represents. I mean, I told Dave, I was like, they don't write songs like that anymore. They don't write things that have such a strong message. And that was, Civil War was when that song was written, so.
And real quick, just talking about emotional, I thought it was maybe the coolest part of the whole thing to me was watching J.D. Vance take his oath of office, man. You could tell he was proud. His family was proud, had the loves of his life there. That was a really special moment. You could just tell. I just think he realized how far he had come in his entire life to be in that place and time. And I thought that was it was just a real authentic point in time for him. And I thought that was really cool.
Yep.
Not to mention standing in front of a military formation, he put his hands in his pockets intentionally as a Marine.
Yeah.
He was looking at, he was like, I know my old drill sergeants, their instructors out there.
Yeah, buddy.
Check it out. I'm putting my hands in my pockets in formation.
Dude, that was part of my separation orders, man.
So here we go. It's Charlie Kirk. And, for those of you that don't know how influential Charlie Kirk was in this last election, this was when he was announced as president. Oh, I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, but he's saying it's done. He's president. pretty incredible stuff. For some reason, the sound's not coming through on the video. Could you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So as long as I know we're good there. And then just some other things that's happened since then. I would play parts of Trump's speech, but it's a 30-minute speech, and like scrolling through all of that is a little bit difficult. We were kind of late getting everything together. But this.
Yeah, we're all out on the road. I think I think folks are gonna give us a pass on that today.
Yeah. So,
yeah. I just want to toss in real fast. I think one of the big things for everybody to remember, and based upon what Charlie Kirk was saying there, we all did this. This is something. Look at how much effort everybody in our community put into this.
Mm-hmm.
This was not a just they were up there doing their thing. This basically, I mean, we're talking about an election that was essentially crowdsourced.
Yeah.
I mean, all of us have been working our asses off on this. And you know what? I'm proud to see that he's there now. And I'm proud to see that we all finally got this together.
Well, and another thing that I will say for the Republican Party and conservatives in general, I'm not a big fan of the Republican Party. There was as many people on the Republican side in that rotunda this morning that I despise just as much as I do Hillary Clinton and all of the other people. Because they're not real, conservatives. They're fake conservatives. They're fake libertarians. They are just there to enrich themselves. But I will say this: Trump has laid the groundwork for what could be the way that we win elections going forward. Everybody laughed when he turned the get out the vote effort to Elon Musk and Charlie Kirk. And guess what? It worked big time. It worked because the biggest and best get out to vote effort that we've ever seen in modern history was that. And they turned an election that would have been maybe really tight. I think Trump would have still won. But when it's really tight, there's the opportunity to cheat. They didn't have that opportunity this time. It was impossible for them to cheat because it was just too big of a margin to win. And it's like I used the example of if you guys know who Tim Donaghy was, he was the NBA ref that was busted for shaving points. And he said in this documentary I watched that if the game is close, the refs can affect the score of a basketball game by like 6 to 8 points. Well, in a tight game, 6 to 8 points is the difference between winning and losing. It's the same thing with election cheating. If it's tight, you can affect the final score. If it's too wide of a margin, it's impossible to generate or change that many votes. So, and that's really what Charlie Kirk was responsible for. And, we see the fruits of it today, and it's really, really cool. This is a funny one. You guys will get a kick out of this.
We're back, baby. We're fucking back.
Vegas theme, of course.
We are back. We're back.
So good old.
I am not getting a tattoo on my face while we're here. It's not happening. Okay, I want you to know that.
We talked about getting matching tattoos while we were in Vegas. So come on, Mike.
I'm not getting a facial tattoo, and that's the last of it. I'm not doing it. I don't care how many times you ask me.
Hey, well, we set up a party with Mike Tyson later, so I hope you guys
is the tiger going to be there?
Hopefully.
All right, I'm in.
And I'm going to share this as well. This is Trump talking directly to about the people that were behind this January 6th faux crap hearing and committee that went in and tried to commit political assassination to him. So let me just play this real quick.
Why are we helping some of the people? Why are we helping Liz Cheney? I mean, Liz Cheney is a disaster. She's a crying lunatic and crying Adam Kinzinger. He's a super crying. I never saw the guy not crying. He's always crying. I looked at him. I remember years ago, he was actually on my side. And then one day, when you don't want to kill people in wars, they turn against you. Liz Cheney hated the concept of not going to war with everybody. Let's kill everybody. Let's spend a lot of money on military equipment, where her father works, right? And but what she did was incredible. Think of it. They destroyed and deleted all of that information that went on for almost 2 years against Trump.
It is the battle for the Republic 2024.
I got a funny feeling that evidence is going to pop up somewhere down the road.
What?
Yeah. I'll get your reaction to you guys each reaction to that. Because he talks about specifically Adam Kinzinger, which I have zero respect for. He's from our state of Illinois. For you guys that understand Illinois, to be a Republican in a northern district in Illinois, it means that you're working with the enemy. And he's just an absolute piece of trash. Sold his country out for, a book deal and whatever else. But so talking about that, this January 6th committee that was a part of the Biden pardon
Inquisition.
Yeah. Inquisition, but also the people that he just pardoned. Anthony Fauci, the January 6th committee, which is Liz Cheney on the Republican side, and Adam Kinzinger, and then all of the other people that Milley, the absolute traitorous, chairman of the Joint Chiefs, just terrible. And so I want to get everybody's reaction to that. I'll start with Dave next to me, and then we'll just go around.
I don't know, that stuff just it's overwhelming how just ridiculously corrupt. And that's the stuff that just makes we just want normal back. We want the parents to show up after the house party to just say, this is what's going to happen from now on. And Kinzinger and the J6, it was all just a perfect example of how people with no oversight, nobody telling them what's right or wrong, how they just run wild and crazy. It's like a bunch of 12-year-olds got drunk and ran crazy, and people just thought, we're supposed to just believe that's normal. So it's like I said, it's kind of overwhelming to me, but I'm just glad now there's a sense of normalcy coming back. And like you said earlier, John, I hope they go ahead with these investigations into Biden. Y'all don't care if they've been pardoned preemptively, whatever. It still needs to happen. The reports need to come out. The evidence needs to come out, and not just to show everybody what they did, but to kind of, for me, to shame the legacy media, everybody else that propped them up and said, look how good and true these people are. They need to be shamed out of existence with this information as well.
Yep. Agreed. Chris, I'll turn it to you. Get your question on that.
Hit me with the question again, because I was looking something up.
So with all these people that have been pardoned, what do we do going forward, and what's your reaction to these people being pardoned and what Trump just said, basically, kind of making fun of this? And what avenues would you suggest that we do going forward to still hold these people accountable, even if it's just in the court of public opinion?
Actually, there's lots of legal recourse here. First and foremost, a pardon does not set aside a dishonorable discharge or a court martial. So Mark Milley can be called back into office, or back into duty, I should say, and he can be court-martialed and dishonorably discharged. So that's a minor thing, I guess, in the grand scheme of things. But there's no such things as pardon for state crimes. So any crimes that these guys committed at the state level and not at a federal level, they're on the hook for those. You can't be pardoned for crimes against humanity, and you can't be pardoned for treason. So all of those things are still in play. So it's not hard to argue Mark Milley, for example, committed treason. He went to the military, went to the Pentagon, and said, you no longer answer to Donald Trump, you answer to me. And then he turned around and called his counterpart in China and said, don't worry, I've taken control of the military. Donald Trump will not be able to launch any action against you if things deteriorate further. And that was 2 weeks before Trump left office. So you've got Fauci, I would argue, crimes against humanity. You've got Mark Milley, clearly committed treason. Everybody on the J6 committee committed treason. They're not covered. The protections are not there that they think that they have. If you follow Tony Seruga, Seruga on X, the guy is way next level when it comes to all of this stuff. Prolific poster, by the way, probably posts 50 times a day. And he's got all kinds of write-ups on this today. So these pardons are not going to do what some people think they're going to do.
Yep. Well, and I hope that we don't get soft once we get into office. I hope that this just continues forward. Mike, what are your reactions to this?
So I had one night where I wasn't sleeping real well. And I had a podcast from, it was a group of lawyers sitting around discussing specifically all of these pardons being so broad and going all the way back to 2014 and everything like that, and anything that happens during this time period, the general consensus among the bunch of them, and God, I wish I would have saved it, but of course, I was half asleep at the time. The general consensus among them, though, was that none of these broad pardons will stand up in court. The vast majority of them are just going to wind up falling apart at the first, the first time that they get in front of a judge. And I think that's between that and what Chris was talking about. I think that's going to be these guys undoing, especially for the J6ers. I mean, there's just too much going on in the background that I don't think it's going to stand up to scrutiny. And I think they're going to get theirs.
Another part to that, Mike, would be, of course, the pardons don't cover anything civil, and all of those people unjustly imprisoned by the J6 committee will probably have grounds to go after them for a very simple reason. Normally you can't, but in this case you can, because none of them had valid oaths of office. So
Right.
that comes into play as well. No valid oath of office means no protections. And sorry, S2. And then the last part, lost my train of thought, but there's one more piece to it. It'll come to me and I'll write it down. Go ahead, S2.
You just stole my thunder. I was going to say, let's bankrupt them.
Yeah.
Everybody in the country gets a piece.
Why not? They felt like bankrupting everybody else. About damn time.
Yeah. Agreed. This is also an interesting. There was one person that wasn't on the pardon list.
There's a bunch of people who weren't on the pardon list. Nancy Pelosi's not on the pardon list.
Yeah.
And she orchestrated J6.
The Vindmans.
Yeah.
The Vindmans are not on the pardon list, correct? And they're scared to death. Alex Vindman's wife's been posting all day how she's, there was no loyalty on the Biden admin, and she's concerned that their family's going to be put in jail and blah, blah, blah. Shouldn't have broken the law. Shouldn't have committed treason.
Yep. 100%. So moving on, just a couple of really quick still. I'm just going to actually present this, and then I'll just scroll through them real quick. So Gunners of America, the Vice President of the United States, proudly owns an AR-15. So we're at SHOT Show this week, and that's a very important topic everybody's concerned about. Brandon Herrera, welcome back, Mr. President. This is a great photo of Trump taking the oath of office. And then Joe Rogan posted this in the post-inauguration ball. Mr. Dana White, Joe Rogan, and Donald Trump there. Those guys were all instrumental in his inauguration. So, I know we've talked about this ad nauseum in a lot of ways. Mike, you have something?
Yeah, I just want to call out George Green here in the comments. Yeah, I think he's got it. They didn't pay the Biden pay-to-play fee, so that's why they didn't get pardons. Yeah. Good on you, George. Yeah. Astute, sir. Astute.
And how do those people feel? Let's talk about this really quick. The people that weren't on that list, how used do they feel? Because they sold their soul to this thinking they were going to get off, and now that's low-hanging fruit because you don't even have to do anything other than just prosecute those people. What do you guys think about that?
That's the problem with evil. It's so arrogant that it thinks it can't be defeated.
Yep.
Here's the best part about people like that from a former investigator standpoint. They're the best ones to flip.
Yep.
Absolutely the best ones to flip. Flip them and turn them, man. And they will dime out everybody for everything that's ever been done.
In the words of the Joker from The Dark Knight, ladies and gentlemen, I know a squealer, and that guy's a squealer.
A lot of wisdom from that guy. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So here's another one, because we've talked about how the left is just so hyper focused on, the DEI and the, equity and all of this stuff. And, let's take a listen to our future head of the FBI, Mr. Kash Patel.
I am standing here because of the American dream. I am not standing here because of the color of my skin. I'm standing here because I earned my right on this stage, and you earned your right to be here with me. And I promise you this, with every fiber of my being, that our law enforcement, that our teachers, that our first responders, that our veterans, that our men and women in uniform who dare to serve this country and put themselves below the rest of our needs will be reprioritized to the top of the heap, because they are standing on that wall, and we will not let that light go dark on them. I am standing here because of the American dream.
So, just a thought about how the left screams about inequity and screams about all of this stuff, and yet, we've seen people, of all races, genders, ethnicities, two genders, but to that come from almost nothing. I mean, the vice president is an example of that. When you actually know this guy's story, he came from abject poverty, and now is the vice president of the United States at 40 years old. Kind of incredible that when you do the work and you actually don't cut corners and you apply yourself, you can reach great heights in this country. One of the things of Trump's speech, and this is something I want us to talk about, is that he said we're returning to a merit-based system. And that is the key to everything. I think that you can only have a fair and equitable system if it's based on the merit of the people and not the inherent characteristics of a skin color or gender or whatever. So, how important is it? And I'll go to Dave on this one. How important is it that we, excuse me, that we are, that we return to a merit-based system and we get away from this DEI?
It's everything. And we see it in law enforcement a lot, where this fake outrage of, we need more black cops, we need more female cops, we've got to push, in Illinois, and it might be a nationwide thing, where they want 30%, like in the next 5 years or 10 years, they want 30% of every police force in America to be female, just because. And it's really not based on anything. It's all just this fake pretending, this virtue signaling type of thing. And we see it. The reality is, when you do go to the shooting call, the wild domestic, and the black officer shows up to save the day, it's like, you're an Uncle Tom, you're racist just like all your white buddies. And people actually, you find out in those moments that people don't actually really care about race. Just like the people in California should not care whether a gay or lesbian or straight or white or whoever shows up to fight the fire, as long as they can fight the fire and drag you out of a house and do the things that they're supposed to do. So it's just all about picking teams these days. People, and even the Democrats, they don't care if you're a Republican or not. They're like, you look at the J6 committee, Liz Cheney, she's a Republican, and Adam Kinzinger, and as long as they believe the way we do, they're on our team. So it's really not about race, and it's not about gender. It's all about, what are your beliefs, and if you don't believe like us, then you're shunned and canceled and all that. And everybody sees through it. That's why people are sick of it. That's why, Trump won by however many million votes, and it's all coming crashing to a violent end. And we're going to see a lot of change. We're already seeing it like crazy.
Yep. Any of you guys have anything to add? Just the importance of having a meritocracy. I mean, honestly, the only place that's probably left of a meritocracy is probably professional sports. There's probably some politics that go into that, but in a lot of ways, that's the place where the most skilled player typically plays. And it's go ahead.
But where I see this being important is when I look at some of the kids today. I think one of the biggest things that is affecting kids and their behaviors today has to do with their self-esteem, and having a merit-based system allows them to build their self-esteem through achievement. And I honestly think that that is part of the problem with today is that the kids just they've been given this whole black pilled life where nothing's going right, nothing's ever going to go right, and I can't do anything right, I can't do anything about it. Well, yes, you can. You can get up off your ass, go get a job, and climb the ladder like everybody else has had to do before you.
And here's proof. Here's proof that that works. Elon Musk is the worldwide leader on trying to kill the woke mind virus, as he calls it. And he's got one of the most, if not the most successful space exploration company that's ever been created. And it's like, well, how can that be? You know, it's not as diverse as it should be. And it's like, it doesn't matter. It's all about merit. It's about performance. Can you excel at this job? And if you can, you're coming here. And he's proving that that works by the success of all of his companies, really.
Yeah. I honestly think that, Pete Hegseth said something in his hearing on the Hill where he was talking about standards. They were trying to get him on the females in the military, females in combat roles. And we've done episodes on that before. But he said there has to be standards. We can't change the standard. If a female, and he said this multiple times, if a female actually makes it into the Navy SEALs because she can actually do all of that stuff, great. Yeah, we'll gladly put her in there. Spoiler alert, the girls that can do that don't look like Demi Moore. Just FYI. So it's one of those things that, like, we have to understand that there has to be standards. Without standards, there can be no performance indicator. There can be no actual value to the work that you put in. And that's why meritocracy is so important. So I want to play a couple of clips from. Mike, you have something?
Yeah. On this specific subject, I was telling you guys before, I've been getting beat up by the District of Columbia for a project that I finished years ago. They want all of both my DEI and my affirmative action reports for this whole thing. It is ridiculous. And I'm just like, guys, it's bomb disposal. Do you really care the color or sex or sexual orientation of your bomb technician? Do you care? Or do you care that it's a good bomb technician?
Yeah.
And these people, I had them on video, and they were just blinking at me. What I was saying to them was 100% foreign to them last week. It was hilarious.
Yeah, it's
all coming to an end, and they're not getting their reports.
Well, and you get these people that are oblivious to this stuff. We were actually on our ride back. We got an Uber, and our Uber driver was talking about when she saw that Dave was looking at stuff about the inauguration. And I think she might have been a little liberal just based off of the stuff she was saying. She was like, well, I heard that he's doing a bunch of executive orders on day one. And, most presidents only do one or two. And I'm like, what? Like, Biden did like hundreds his first day, like undid everything Trump had done, plus put a bunch of other stuff in place. I actually, and I may be wrong here, but I think Biden actually had the record for executive orders on day one. So it's like, these people are oblivious. They look at headlines. They look at the panic that's going on the left. All these people crap posting on X or whatever, or the mainstream media, or as Rush Limbaugh used to call it, the lamestream media, because it's garbage. And people don't actually research stuff. They don't actually look into the truth. They're more concerned with their talking points. Go ahead, Chris.
There's another piece to this that most people aren't aware of, but executive memoranda carries the same weight as an executive order. And Obama wrote hundreds of executive memoranda to make it look like he didn't write as many executive orders. So Trump didn't do that. Trump didn't use smoke and mirrors like that. And I don't remember what the numbers are. I'll look them up quickly. But again,
yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
So I do remember one of the things about those executive memoranda, because I was still in the Army at the time. He wrote a whole bunch of them and expected that to stick at Department of Defense. And a couple days later, those 5 gentlemen from the Pentagon walked across the river and said, "Hey, sit down, Slick. We got to have a quick chat, because a whole bunch of that stuff does not work for us. And here's why." And a lot of those executive memorandas got tossed into the shredder because Yeah, he was wanting to do a bunch of things, and the DOD was like, yeah, no. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was speaking of the military. I want to get your guys' take on one of the things that really my ears perked up when I heard Trump say this, and he had talked about it before, but he really confirmed it today. And he said that they're going to declare the cartels a terrorist organization. And I want to know from you guys what you think. What does that mean as far as what type of action we're going to take? Is that going to be related just to the ability for us to do deportations, or is it really going to be related towards us targeting them? Where do you guys, Chris, where do you think that type of is going to lead us?
The biggest thing with the FTO designation is that we can deploy the military in a support role for law enforcement. So,
hey guys, I got some breaking news coming in. He's commuting the sentences of the J6ers right now as we speak.
awesome.
All of them?
I don't know about all of them. I just saw it flash across my screen.
Wow. Well, I hope it's all of them because, yeah, we just need to.
He said 99.9% of them he was going to do.
Well,
So, Dave, the other thing with FTOs is it allows them to redirect money towards the border as well. So it's FTO designation is a pretty big deal. And I don't know that it's necessary or not, but I know for a fact, no ifs, ands, or buts, we will be sending special forces across the border to take out cartels. We already have people there, and they're just getting ready to be lit up.
Yep. I'm going to respond to this real quick.
That's definitely going to open things up for kinetic operations.
So I'll address Doug Winslow's question here. It's an important question. My wife actually asked me. We're across the country texting each other while the inauguration. She's like, "Why didn't he put his hand on his Bible?" That was John Roberts' fault. He screwed up because typically they are supposed to say the actual words are "Place your hand upon the Bible and repeat after me." And he jumped straight to and you can see Melania was like, "This is not what we talked about."
I thought she was going to grab his hand and put it on the Bible.
Yeah.
I think she was wanting to.
That was not, because if you actually know what Trump was going to put his hand on, it was a family Bible from like his great grandmother or something. So there were two Bibles there, and one of them was his family Bible that was passed down for multiple generations. So I wouldn't read anything into that. It was obvious that, he gave credit to God for saving his life, doing all of that stuff. I don't think there's anything to this. It's a nothing burger in my opinion. What do you guys think? You have anything to add to that?
I think he'd probably just take Thomas aside and have Thomas read and give him a do-over.
Yeah.
I want to go back to Dave's point on when we were talking executive orders and executive memoranda. I just pulled up the entire list. Obama did 644 executive memoranda and tried to claim that he had done less executive orders than any president had done in the past century because he did 195 EOs. And it's the article that I read on it before I went to the actual registrar basically said it was the Obama head fake. I didn't do much for executive orders except for the 744 executive memoranda over here, but don't pay attention to that.
That's insane.
Obama head fake.
Yeah. So real quick, I'm going to share this. This is one of those take that neocons and libcons. This is
my proudest
a key
legacy
statement.
will be that of a peacemaker and unifier. That's what I want to be, a peacemaker and a unifier. I'm pleased to say that as of yesterday, one day before I assumed office, the hostages in the Middle East are coming back home to their families.
I think that's one of those things is like the key is the wars that you keep from getting into, because as we've seen in the last 4 years, like Biden wasn't keeping us from getting into wars. That was the previous Trump administration. We didn't get into any foreign conflicts, any new foreign conflicts while he was president, and we got out of a lot of them. But Biden's peace through weakness approach ignited wars across the world, and the whole world was on the verge of a world war, in my opinion, with everything that he's done. So, and you're already seeing movement in the foreign policy world. As soon as Trump got elected, you saw a lot of that. So speaking to that, of like the absolute insane thirst of Washington, insiders and career politicians to enrich themselves with wars. And for our audience, if you guys don't know how much these people make, how much money they make off of war, it would make you sick if you actually knew the reality of it. Wars are very profitable for politicians.
And the cartels were just designated as terrorist organizations.
Woohoo! Good deal. You guys got any comments on that? We'll go to the next one if not. So we're actually getting close. We're gonna, these, just for everybody's information, the episodes this week are going to be a little bit shorter, about an hour long, just because we're at SHOT Show, our designated area where we're going to be actually streaming from starting tomorrow, is we're limited on time. So we're going to get through stuff a lot quicker. So we'll do a couple more, and then we're going to move to the week ahead. So I want to do a couple of funny ones. Let me pull this up real quick. This might actually be an indication that Mark Zuckerberg might be human, or at least maybe he's starting to become a human. Like there was an old movie, like Something Like Human, in the 1980s, of an android that a father built that slowly starts to become human. There's a possibility of this based off of this video that surfaced.
And then he laughs.
For those of you that are wondering,
he's done him some breastises.
Yeah. and this one's actually funnier. Just
look, that's just a glitch in the brand new T700 programming. That's all that is. I mean, he was the last version we saw him before. It was a T600 with the rubber skin. You could pick them out easy. Now they've done the T700 Zuckerberg.
Act human for yes. For those of you that are wondering, that's actually Jeff Bezos' girlfriend. And she was very interestingly dressed. It looked like she had lingerie with a sport coat over the top of it. So yeah, and that was something.
If you check the private chat, I just sent you the Mexican word of the day. And if you check your iMessage, I just sent you a whole ton of memes. Yeah. Feel free to use any that you want. Yeah. But the Mexican word of the day is good. It's the first one I've seen that doesn't rhyme with something or sound like another word. It's only 4 letters long. It's the itty bitty word.
Hide.
The word I've seen.
That's funny. That is funny. Let me. So I'll let you guys talk for a bit. I'm going to pull up these memes real quick, and we'll go through them. So quick. Let's do this. Let's do quick predictions for what we're going to see in the upcoming days and weeks from the Trump administration movement and everything. So I'll start with Chris, and then we'll go around to through the panel.
I think he's going to line them up and knock them down. Everything that was in his platform. I've got a piece of kind of breaking news. It'll be big news, not too far down the road. I can't get into details. Mike and S2 know about this, but there will be a Ukrainian summit in the not too distant future that will end that conflict.
I'm thinking it's already ended.
Well, yeah, for all intents and purposes, but the final resolution, there's some wheels in motion that some stuff is going to happen. And when I'm allowed to announce it all, I'm Forrest Gump, right? I'm buddies with all these guys who are, powerful guys. And it's pretty exciting stuff, to be honest with you. Some of the things going on behind the scenes.
All right, Putin, you get to keep Crimea, and Zelensky, you get to stay alive.
Yeah, sounds like a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way if that conflict goes forward, there's no way Zelensky ends up with more land than he has right now. It can't happen. And so at some point, yeah, you don't want Russia taking over some of what your country was, but it's going to be a parking lot. It already 90% is. And so you just got to put a stop to this. And it's not best case scenario, but it's obviously.
Well, I mean, the other piece to this, of course, is the areas of Ukraine that Putin wants back have been part of Russia forever and a day. He's not after the parts that weren't Russian, like historically speaking. Everything that he's after, those people speak Russian. They consider themselves Russian. And those geographies should have been, when the USSR broke up, it should have been allocated to Russia, not Ukraine. So I don't think Putin's demands are unreasonable in that regard at all. There's a great take on it between Tucker and Putin, where Tucker was getting pissed off because Putin was being so long-winded covering the history of all those pieces of land. But then Tucker said afterwards, he said, actually, it was very educational. Now he understood where Putin was coming from. Crimea, for example, everybody speaks Russian there. They don't speak Ukrainian, and their history is all Russian, not Ukrainian. So I'm not saying it's justified, but that's his reasoning.
Well, and the Russians, of course, really love the oil.
Well, yeah, of course.
And yeah. Putin's last statement will be, and tell beasts to stop shitting on my lawn.
Yeah. Prediction for me, I think, there's, Chris already said there's going to be a mountain of things that are going to be going on. I would predict another assassination attempt within the next 6 months.
Unfortunately true.
Yeah. They can't have this guy being long-standing and being successful.
No.
There's no
TDS is just too pervasive out there. There's too many people that are freaked out and just don't understand reality and are not happy about their toys being taken away and being told, no, you actually have to go sit and act like an adult now.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, even like people like Sam, he's a really famous atheist thought guy. I forget his last name. Anyways, but he was on Bill Maher's podcast a couple of weeks ago. I sent it to Chris and Dave, like positing the fact that Trump didn't get shot still and it didn't hit his ear and it was glass from a teleprompter. The comments on that clip was hilarious because it was literally people just posting the picture of the teleprompter post shooting. It's like, this is so easily debunked and you're still positing this insanity. And that's where the left is. Excuse me.
A couple quick things. Number one, Rubio was just confirmed across the board. And Trump just issued a clarification on the 14th Amendment that nukes birthright citizenship.
Wow. That's
so
big.
Here's your update, guys. Trump pardons 1,500 J6ers, commutes 6. Trump declared cartels foreign terrorist organization, declares emergency at the southern border.
Dropping some bombs there. Yeah. That's crazy. I thought, the inauguration speech today was very kind of touchy-feely. Like, we're going to, it's a golden age of America, and we're going to end all wars, and this is going to be wonderful, and we're going to hug, and this is all, and we're going to do some great things. But I thought, and the president's job for a lot of what he does is to give people hope. Like, we want people to be positive and be inspired. But I think in the next year, there's going to be some battles. There's going to be battles at the southern border. It's not going to be easy, rounding up a bunch, thousands of tens of thousands of hardened criminal illegals and the gangs and the cartels. And now, who knows what the border could turn out to be a really nasty place in the next year. So you got that, you got the Middle East, you got terrorists popping up. I think it's gonna be some bumpy roads ahead, but it's so nice having the confidence to know that we got people in charge that know how to make decisions to handle these things. And so I think there's gonna be some growing pains on getting to where we want and need to be, but I think in the next year it's gonna look pretty rough.
Yeah, it may get worse before it gets better. I completely agree with that. That to pull cancer out of a body, you have to do a couple of things. You have to either cut it out if it can be cut out, or you have to give it medication that's hard on the body in a lot of ways. But this is going to be the same thing. We're going to have to cut out this cancer and get rid of it. And that's a tough job, but I don't think there's anybody more well suited. And we always talk about the right person for the right time and right place in history. Donald Trump is absolutely, I have no doubt, and I will quote what he said: "God saved my life so I can make America great again." I completely agree with that. And that's why I think that he is the guy for the job. He's been through the battles. He's taken bullets for us, and that is a key thing moving forward. Chris, did you check the private chat?
I didn't. I'll go check it right now. But Trump's exact words is that he has instructed the Bureau of Prisons to release all J6 hostages tonight. Hostages.
Gosh,
I want that on video. I want to see these people walking out. This is like going to Siberia in Russia and emptying out the gulags. If you guys don't believe that, these are absolutely political prisoners.
Yeah, it feels 100%. Like our country was taken over by some foreign government for the last 4 years, and now finally we're back. And it feels amazing.
I don't know, man. Those are kind of true words right there, and it's not necessarily almost feels like, but
yeah. I mean,
yeah, I'm kind of putting kid gloves on there a little bit, but
yeah.
Kind of feels like liberation. Kind of feels like Liberation Day to me.
Yeah,
I'd say so.
Chris, how many times have we talked in the last couple of months about and said, this is either just complete idiocy or they're under the control of our enemies, and I think that's absolutely where we were.
There's no other way to square the stuff that they've done.
Yeah.
Can I make my predictions here?
Yes, go ahead, S2. It's coming to you anyways.
I think so. Mike makes a point about TDS being pervasive, but I think that if enough of these things that Trump is doing, specifically economically, if they start to take hold, I think you're going to see a lot of attitudes from people change, because their life is going to become so much different than what it ever has been, especially the younger generations. And when they start to see that, that's going to be contagious.
Yeah, agreed. Chris, you made your prediction, right?
Yeah, I'm getting those pictures queued up for you. Just give me a minute. I'll have them all there.
My prediction, and this is a big one. So we know that it was really important for Trump to win this election for another reason, and that is the Supreme Court, because we have two aging giants on the Supreme Court in Clarence Thomas and Alito. Those two guys are consistently the most conservative. They're incredibly skilled at defining the Constitution in the right way. This gives us an opportunity to replace those. But my prediction is that Trump is going to get to replace two more justices on the liberal side. Did you guys see Sotomayor today?
Yo, foul.
She looks awful. She looks sick.
And that's as good as she can make herself look.
Yeah. Like she looked like death warmed over. And I honestly think that Trump is, and this will break the left's brain, because he would have a 7-2 majority in the Supreme Court at that point. That's insane. Ketanji Brown Jackson would be the far left, and then I forget the other older dude that's on the left. I forget his name, but that is my prediction, that he's going to get to replace two on the left side, as well as Clarence Thomas and Justice Alito. Samuel Alito. So yeah.
If I can add to that also, I think they're also going to wind up. I think the administration is also going to wind up doing a preemptive strike, insulating the Supreme Court from being able to be expanded in the future, because that's one of the big things that the Dems were really thinking. Okay, this is how we fix this. We just go ahead and we put 4 more seats up there.
Yeah.
And no, it's this way for a reason. Leave it be.
Yeah, agreed. So we're going to finish out with this section, and then we're going to quickly go to the week ahead at SHOT Show, because it's a special week for the gun community, and we're going to be sending a lot of content you guys' way. But before we get to that, we've got some really funny memes Chris is putting up for us.
They're all queued up.
Yep. So let's go, and let's just take them in order, and we'll react to them in real time.
I'll go through them quickly, but look at Bernie compared to everyone else. What miserable. He's like the very definition of curmudgeon.
Yes.
It's like, why are you even there?
Yeah.
Right.
That's awesome. Love
I'm
it.
here for the free food.
I mean, yeah, because the communists always come for the free stuff.
Right.
You know that he was kicked out of a commune for not doing enough when he was younger? I'm not joking.
Right.
This is a real thing. A communist community he was kicked out of because he was such a drag on the community.
How do you...
That was in his 30s.
How can you be so low? You know what? At that point, if you're too lazy to be in a commune, your only option is politics.
Yep. 100%.
All right.
Yeah.
Here's a meme for our Canadian friends. So Ford and Trudeau.
That's good.
Spot on.
And this one is right on the money. Innocent people don't need pardons. Boy, howdy. Ain't that the truth?
That's the thing. Like, if you can be proven innocent in a courtroom, there's no reason to need a pardon.
Yeah. And AOC is pretty upset about TikTok. You can't ban TikTok. All the clocks will stop. So that's about on her level. And since
she should go back to selling feet pictures.
Since we're finally going to hopefully put a lid on this transgender stuff, this is the face when you think you're a woman but catch your dick in your zipper.
Yeah. That's about it.
All right. And Elizabeth Warren, stop sending me this shit.
It is uncanny. It's like, you imagine that's what Elizabeth Warren looked like when she was like 16 or 17. So.
I mean, the way I see it, he's at least 1/1024th of a Native American.
Was that a 1-bit joke?
Yeah. This is from the group of SEALs that we had on supporting Pete Hegseth not too long ago. And,
yeah, 100%.
I don't know if this one's real or not for the phone number, but Tom Homan has been saying he's going to have a 800 number that people can call in. The next one, this is great. And Trump posted this on Truth. Because Biden's dog Major kept biting Secret Service agents. This one's pretty funny, actually. JFK speaking to communists circa 1962.
Oh, the sign.
Oh, that's great. National Association for Retarded Children.
Yeah.
Where's Bernie? I know he's in there somewhere.
He's in there for sure, for sure.
Look up the balcony.
Here's a question of the night. It's time for justice. Who should Trump arrest first?
Mayorkas.
Bingo. And he didn't get a pardon, did he?
No, he did not.
No, I didn't see his name up there.
He didn't have the money.
U.S. foreign policy over time. Teddy Roosevelt walks softly but carry a big stick. Bush run around wildly beating people with the stick. Biden walk incoherently and give the stick to the Taliban. Trump, guess where the stick is going if you screw with us.
And that's really good.
Here's one that's not very politically correct. I don't really care. Men who want gun control eat their candy bars upside down so they can feel that veiny texture.
Perfection.
They're the same people that
Oh,
eat
man.
bananas not for the taste, but for the
The reps.
yeah. Yeah.
God has
Trying to be
blessed
good. I'm trying to be good here.
God has blessed us with a plethora of great memes tonight. Dear Nancy, go after yourself. She didn't get a pardon either, so be interesting to see what comes of that. Did you hear
State of the Union?
Yeah.
Trump called her out today and specifically said that she was the person behind J6? So
Yep.
100%.
They got it on tape.
Yep, and American traitor, ain't that the truth?
You
That
might
guy
figure out what white rage is now.
Yeah, no kidding. This next one is awesome. This is an actual quote from Donald Trump, happened minutes ago in the White House. Fuck this Biden policy, and also fuck this one and this one. Fuck this one as well. Hell, fuck them all.
I said to Dave today, we were watching him, and he's like whispering to JD, and I was like, you know what he's saying? It's going to be a late night, guys. Get ready.
Yeah, he doesn't sleep. Ask
know.
anybody who spent any time around Trump. He does not sleep.
I
Dan
said that's-
Bongino said he's never seen a human being run on such little sleep.
Everybody says that, and he runs on junk food too, which is hilarious. It's completely backwards of like what everybody says. Get plenty of sleep, eat healthy. It's like this guy is 78 years old, hasn't slowed down. Like people, everything they said about Biden, I can't keep up with him. All the lies they told, that's literally Trump.
It's true with this guy. Yeah, but oddly enough, from personal experience, Cheney was the same way. Of course, it was rapidly killing Cheney. I mean, with 42 strokes and God knows how many, the drinking the blood of virgin children on a daily basis. But
I don't think Winston Black in the YouTube chat got the memo. All of the J6ers have been pardoned.
Yep, they've been pardoned, Winston.
Check
And
the news.
the Bureau of Prisons is in the process of getting them out right now. This is a true story right here. Imagine what they did when we couldn't see their crimes on our phones.
Man, nothing truer than that right there. Holy smokes.
And nothing says trust the science quite like a blanket preemptive pardon. I don't know if y'all caught this, but the pardon for Fauci, the start date, January 1st, 2014, same as Hunter. Why is that? That's when we invested the money in the biolabs in Ukraine for coronavirus and all these other things. That's why.
Should have went clear back to 2005 with that fucker.
Yeah. Right on. She can finally take a break knowing she's in great hands. And this next one is major truth bomb. The real job is not cleaning up the mess that Biden created. The real job is cleaning up the mess that created Biden.
Wow.
That is a mouthful right there. For
Big
sure.
mess.
And I got to get one of these. We will be unbidened by what has been.
Oh, that's a t-shirt waiting.
Yeah, we need that t-shirt. We will be unbidened by what has been.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's just awesome. All right. Trump colluded with Russia. That was me, Hillary. Trump kept kids in cages. That was me, Obama. Trump obstructed an active investigation. That was us, Schumer and Pelosi. Trump had a quid pro quo in Ukraine. That was me, Biden. And
all true.
The reason he was impeached the first time was because he was wanting to investigate the corruption in Ukraine.
Yeah, I can't remember who was on. It might have been Mike and I were talking about Saul Alinsky's, whatever it is, 10, 11, 12 steps.
Rules for radicals.
Yeah, and one of them, to convert America to a socialist state, one of them was to accuse your adversary of everything that you're doing yourself. So,
or the modern Democratic Party.
Yeah, here's some truth here. I'm not going to say that word with an I on it in case the YouTube censors nuke us, but assassinated Japanese PM didn't follow WEF orders, didn't mandate the thing you stick in your shoulder, sent 1.6 million doses back and gave citizens that miracle non-patented costs pennies to manufacture a drug that cures that shit. And here's Hillary Clinton teaching young girls how to delete emails.
Oh, I tell you what, seeing all of those old just communists walk into that rotunda today and just the scowls on their faces, just like the defeated. I mean, how do you feel? Like I said earlier, you've thrown everything in the kitchen sink at this guy and he just keeps coming. It's like,
I thought it was great. So many people like, why even invite them? Why even give them the chance to be there? And to me, it was like, if a football
So you
team
get to
just
call them out to their face.
yes, if one football team just beat another one, and imagine if the next day you had invited the defeated team to your film review day
or your championship parade,
and every play-by-play that you just nail them, you get to show it to them to their face. Like,
and it's not even just you beat them. No. We kept our first string in, and we just ran up the points. So now it was like 49-6.
Yep, stand here and watch this.
Yep. So we're going to move ahead and really quickly cover SHOT Show. This week is a special week with the gun community and all of that stuff. And we are out here on location in Vegas, myself, Chris, and Mike. And at some point, we were actually supposed to meet up tonight. We're going to have to postpone that because of Chris's debacle that happened today of just spinning his wheels, it seems like. We've been better off just to stay at home, in all honesty, probably, right? So
I'm like the worst traveler ever, man.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
True story. You know, I was on planes nonstop, you know, I was in high tech, but years ago I got on a plane. It was like the second, third day of January in Daytona Beach, small airports, like the size of a bus stop. Right. And it was we boarded at 6 a.m. We were pulled away from the jetway at 6:30. At 7 a.m., we're still sitting on the tarmac, and the pilot comes on and says, listen, we don't have any de-icing equipment here. It's the last time I remember that we saw any ice or snow here. And we were hoping that the sun would have melted the ice off by now, but it's not. So this flight has been canceled, and you guys can come back and try it again tomorrow morning. So I went back home, and not that first flight, but the second flight that I was supposed to be on crashed into that suburb in Buffalo and killed 238 people, 240 something. Yeah, I was supposed to be on that plane, and the only reason I wasn't on that plane is because, one, we don't have de-icing equipment here in Florida, and two, the sun wasn't strong enough to melt the ice off that plane. So today, when I missed the flight today, that's okay, because it probably saved me from something.
Yeah, the good Lord's got his hand on you, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
So
airline food.
We're looking ahead at the week, and so tomorrow night, and Chris, I'll have you chime in on this. So tomorrow night, since Chris won't be in until after the normal stream, we're going to be hosting the guys from CCW Safe. They're out here. We actually saw their booth out at the range today. Great group of guys. So we're gonna be hosting that. Myself, Mike, and Dave will be on doing that tomorrow on location in Vegas. And then I'll let you speak to the rest of the week. Before I do that, I'm just going to go ahead and give a shout out. We're going to be posting a bunch of stuff. We've already been posting stuff from the range day on our Instagram, our YouTube channel. Keep an eye out for that. We're going to be doing product reviews, new product outlooks, what's coming out in the industry, some of the big exciting things. And it's not even just guns. There's a whole host of other things. Tactical products, survival products, all come up to SHOT Show. So keep an eye out for that stuff. But Chris, I'll turn it over to you to kind of review the rest of the week.
Yeah, I honestly don't know that we'll be able to get everybody that's on the list, but I'll run through the list right now. So we've got Ken Nuss, Kyle Reyes from Law Enforcement Today, and Dan Kerning from See It, Send It. They're grouped together. We've got Pastor Sean Moon and Justin Moon from Car Arms lined up. We've got Jason Jones, former captain, Texas DPS. He's Newsmax's border guy, and his wife, Tara. They're fixing to start a new show, Liberty something. I can't remember the exact name. We've got Mark Chapa and a couple other guys from Flex Industries there, RTS Tactical, Sheriff Mark Lamb. And for anybody who's not aware of it, Sheriff Mark Lamb is stepping down as the sheriff. Keith Graves, I think Wednesday, Keith will be with us from Christian Warrior Training. James from Pilgrim Ammo, Michael Letts from InvestUSA.org, Jeff Nicholas, of course, we're going to be using one of his suites from Compliant Technology, former Blackhawk pilot. Tony Blauer will be joining us. Don Mann will be joining us. Dr. Jen will be joining us. Cody Snyder may be joining us from Unit Solutions. Elise from Mantis X may be joining us. And again, I don't think that we're going to get to them all because we're going to try and keep it to about an hour, maybe just a bit over this week, but we'll do the best we can.
Cool. Yeah. It's going to be a jam-packed week with all kinds of stuff coming you guys' way. Keep an eye out for that. We'll be posting videos throughout the day, so keep an eye out for that. And then we'll be on live stream in the evening with all of you guys as usual. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Anybody else have anything before we go?
I have one more thing I want to say.
Go ahead, Eston.
Antifa.com no longer goes to whitehouse.gov.
God, that's awesome.
Well, I think, there's a lot of things to looking up in the country. We can't rest on our laurels. We have to continue to push. And that starts with every one of you guys out at your local level. Get involved, stay connected, come to Survival Dispatch and Righteous Savages for all of the latest news and information. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. God bless America.
There's
God bless America, everybody.
There's about a 3-minute video that's going to wrap up here when you click end. 3 minutes, 30 seconds. God bless America.
Watch till the end.
Yeah.
One time for the USA, she back in the biggest way. From the hood to the home and the range. Shout out to U.S. veterans, the ones who drew them weapons. They took that oath and kept it, too deep and then protected God's ground. President took a bullet to the head, no, we won't lie down. Settlement couldn't stop them, raised his fist and said to fight now. Residents took to ballots and they voted, this land ours now. It's yours now, it's mine now, it's God's ground. This is do or die screaming, fight, 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 God's ground. We're standing on God's ground. We ain't running. They know we got that red blood running through our veins, through the peril and the pain. Make no mistake, this is no man's land. We're standing on God's ground. We ain't running. They know we got that red blood running through our veins, through the thunder and the rain. Make no mistake, this is no man's land. We're standing on God's ground. In the band that God created, why they wanna call evil good? Don't me they wanna alternate it. Yeah, alternate it. Red to blue with that fallen nature. Back to red, I called on my savior. I know God did us all a favor. Now they got the right man in office. Sticking to the people that's spoken. Falling down, but we never have those losses. God's promises won't be broken. I stand up in the land of the free, but it doesn't mean everybody gonna be brave. I'll turn my back to the enemy, then let me see God's people in front of me say, this is do or die screaming. Fight, fight, fight. God's only coming to me tonight. We're standing on God's ground. We ain't running. They know we got that red blood running through our veins, through the peril and the pain. Make no mistake, this is no man's land. We're standing on God's ground. We ain't running. They know we got that red blood running through our veins, through the thunder and the rain. Make no mistake, this is no man's land. We're standing on God's ground.
Many people have told me that God spared my life for a reason. And that reason was to save our country.